This is DanO, and I'm here with my co-host, Toddy Walker. We're back to talk about one of our most passionate subjects, which is good music. We talked a lot last episode about the golden era and what it was that we felt like made the golden era exactly that. And a lot of those bands are bands that we still carry very close to our hearts today. But I was going to ask Todd, when we were growing up, in that time frame of 16, 17, 18, 19 years old, there was so much that, and I will let you talk in a minute, man, I promise.
Wait, we good.
There was so,
I got the bourbon.
I got the Briar, but there was so much that you were kind of you were carving out your identity. You know, this is my beer, this is my band, this and these are my jeans, and that kind of thing, and music especially. It drove us to say, hey, yeah, man, I'm a Talking Heads dude. Todd, what would you say, like in high school at least? Maybe ninth grade through 12th, what were the bands that really drove you to say, this is Toddy?
Talking Heads 77 was a game changer. The cover of Al Green's Take Me to the River was unlike anything I'd ever heard. Made some of those early morning rides to DHS quite interesting. I took what we discussed last time, and I thought, surely there's got to be a list of albums. And sure enough, Rolling Stone had comprised their top 500 records from like the 1950s through the 2020s. And then they broke it down per decade. And I did write this down because there wasn't no hell way I was going to remember it. But on this list of 500, 71 records from the 60s, 55 from the 70s, and 71 from the 80s. So of the 500 greatest albums of all time, 197 of them are from that golden era period. And that's 60%.
That's good data, man.
Yeah,
good data.
So but it solidifies what you were saying last week. So kudos, cheers, however you want to put it.
And in terms of during that time frame, the albums or the bands that really, for me, I knew that a Busch beer had 16 lines and 23 peaks on the can because it was my beer. I knew everything about Dire Straits because they were my band, or Atlanta Rhythm Section because they were my band. What was it for you?
Pink Floyd, they were my band. And that, from Dark Side of the Moon, Wish You Were Here, Animals in the Wall, that 4-record stretch, unequaled. Steely Dan, from Can't Buy a Thrill to Gaucho, incredible set of records. The Doobie Brothers, from The Captain and Me to my favorite, What Were Once Vices Are Now Habits. This could be a never-ending loop.
Well, so Toddy, what I'm really playing off of here is a game that you and I play, if you want to call it a game, and have for years, and that is, if you were stranded on a desert island and you could only have 10 songs, or you could only have 10 albums, what would they be? And it just a way to force us to start to think about, if I really had to prioritize all the stuff that I call good music, how would I prioritize it, right? So that's kind of what I'm pulling on here, Toddy. How would you prioritize that set of music in that period that was the most influential to you?
I can probably answer that with 10 right now, but I reserve the right to change my mind tomorrow.
Of course.
Now,
the way we play the game.
Some of them are given. They're going to be on there regardless. Dark Side and The Wall. See, and then now I'm thinking I can't leave out Animals. Love Over Gold by Dire Straits would be on that list. I would have to think, do I take Asia or do I take Katie Light? Or and then I'm really going to switch gears. I'm tell you one that would be on there, Earth, Wind, and Fire's All in All.
See, and what you're hitting on there, Toddy, is the breadth of the spectrum. When we say good music, we're not discriminating against any genre. If it's good music, it's good music.
Absolutely.
I've heard a whole lot of black gospel that I consider good music. And at the same time, you can go to Pink Floyd or Doobie Brothers or wherever. But what you're hitting on there is just the fact that we're inclusive, if you will. I don't know if I like that word, but we give credit to good music regardless of what genre it may be classified.
Oh, if it's good, it's good.
Yeah. Earth, Wind, and Fire. Yeah,
that's on. All in All is on there. Serpentine Fire. How do you do without it, man? So,
yeah.
I would have to have probably Speaking in Tongues by the Talking Heads. That's, I could come up with a list of 10 right now, but ask me this question tomorrow, and some of them would change. Depends on the mood.
I hear you. And so, if we jump back to a topic that we touched on last time, the fact that as much as I think your list and my list of those, stranded on an island kind of things, consists of bands or albums from that golden era. But there
Who would you have to?
Go ahead.
But what's some on your list that you would have to have?
Well, I mean, it starts with Pink Floyd, and I don't. It's hard to see talking bands versus albums, and for me, it's easier to talk.
Yeah,
bands.
Yeah, album. Let's stick with that.
Off the cut, and so I'm just going to say, Pink Floyd, Dire Straits, Atlanta Rhythm Section, Genesis. Gosh, did I already say Atlanta Rhythm Section? I guess I did. Here's one that's going to throw you. Mother's Finest, Aerosmith. Okay. How many have I named?
Let me ask this away then. All right, you said Atlanta Rhythm Section. What record? And that's what I'm saying, subject to change.
Yeah. I honestly don't know that I could say one record, unless you had me, I don't know, in some sort of a chokehold. It's just too much of it that I love over too broad of a scale. And
Champagne Jam.
Yeah, sure. It's great, but there are things, conversation that I wouldn't take anything for. So that's a hard one to
right.
answer, Toddy.
And I think just if there's a sheer chance that you're going to have liquor on this deserted island, you got to have Skinner's pronounced.
If there's a chance, yeah. We'll be fermenting coconuts, man.
But if you're going to have alcohol, then Skinner's pronounced record is a game changer.
All right. So where I was trying to go to is the idea that there is good music actually happening today. It's just a little harder to find it, and it's something that in a lot of ways depends on if word of mouth could be applied to social media, then I would call it word of mouth. But it's Toddy texting me and saying, "Hey, check out this band. It's the Wild Feathers, and I think you'll like them." And me texting Toddy and saying, "Hey, check out this band, and it's Alt J, and I think you'll like them." So there are good bands out there. One example that I'm going to bring up, and then I'll let Toddy chime in on his, but Goose, the band Goose. They're from Connecticut, been around for a while. I'm just going to read you from Wikipedia because I don't want to mess this up. American band from Wilton, Connecticut, formed in 2014. They're still going strong. They actually released a new album 2 days ago after dropping a single out of the blue, um, you know, 5 days ago. And there's actually a song from their last album that's posted to the Orbital Motion Facebook page. So, Todd, new bands. What you got?
Larkin Poe, two sisters from Georgia, and one of them plays an absolutely face-melting slide. Now, she's quite good, both of them. It's more of a probably classic rock kind of feel with them, but I would suggest anybody give them a listen. Make your own mind up. But don't dismiss them because it's two girls. They're pretty badass.
Well, you know, and listen, just for context for anybody listening, you and I talked a minute about the idea of new music, and I gave you my take on it, which is just current music. If a band is releasing albums today, then it's new music. I don't care whether they've been recording for 10 years. Likewise, if they just started recording yesterday and I love what they're playing, they're a new band and I like them. So we'll keep offering insights and suggestions to where you might find some really good music today.
And here's one that comes up for me and has found its way into my playlist, is Lucas Nelson and The Promise of the Real. It's kind of a roots rock, sort of. It's not country like you would expect since he's Willie's son, I suppose. Once again, quite good. Well, it just cracks me up. What's Willie, 140? And
at least, yeah.
Yeah, and I think this dude is probably about the same age as mine and your kids. So, thumbs up, Willie. Yeah, hey. But yeah, you have to dig, but they're there. And there's some really good bands there. Like, if you mentioned Goose. Now, here's my question to you. When I listen to them, there's a distinct 70s vibe with that band, but I cannot put my finger on who it is they remind me of. But it's somebody. Particularly the song Your Direction. Sometimes when it comes on, I'm kind of sucked in, but I never can figure out who it is. But there's something there that's similar.
Yeah, and I'm man, you know me. I'm not good at describing one artist by comparing to another. And that song, I agree with you. It sounds familiar to me. Mm-hmm. When I hear it, do I think, oh, well, that was this band or that band? I don't. I sent you a text a couple hours before this podcast, going back to the new Goose album. And, I listened to music kind of privately for a while until I formed my own opinion. And I don't just run out screaming that, hey, this is the coolest stuff in the world. You got to hear it, until I formed some opinion on my own. And so after multiple days of pretty intense listening, I sent Todd a text this afternoon saying, I don't know what this is. I can't just drop it in a box and just say it's this genre or that genre, but it's smooth as silk and it's fine as hell. That's what it is.
And you like it.
And I like it.
Start talking about that. What genre does it fall in? When it falls in, damn good music. That's
kind of where we started, right?
Simple enough.
Yep. So, Toddy, even though we got a lot of music conversation ahead of us, man, there's some other stuff going on in the world that has kind of got me thinking, I guess, is one way of saying it. You know, we're damn near about to kick off football, man, college football, and I don't know if I'm ready yet.
Yo, do you have the same interest that you once did in it, though?
Do I have to be honest? I have the same interest. It hurts my heart a bit that it's such a mercenary kind of pay for play arrangement, as opposed to a bunch of kids that had loyalty to Auburn because of the university that it is. So yeah, there's an impact there. Am I still interested? Yeah.
Part of it is, for me, you can't, how can I put this? You don't develop, I don't know, a bond almost that you once did, because you don't know the players. The players change
Right.
now from year to year.
Yeah.
I saw a thing on Ole Miss, and they've got something like 54 new faces on the roster from last year. I don't know how you even do that.
I don't know. I don't know. I'm going to say this out loud, not say it too deeply, but you know me and my kind of sixth sense thing that I have. And I'm telling you that there was a point in time in 1981 that I sensed this environment, and that's about all I'll say about it. But it was a sad dream, and to see it now essentially in reality it's disheartening.
And it's not going to, how can I put this? It's only going to get worse. Yeah. I think you're kind of at a point, there's no going back now.
Yeah.
So, and obviously you and I both are Auburn fans. Graduated from there. That's, our school. But, and you want them to win. You want them to win every game. But like I said, that emotional investment that you once had, it's no longer there. And, nothing stays the same. I get that, but it's sad to see it change. Because there's still a few kids that probably play for their school, and regardless of what school, whether it be Alabama, Auburn, Georgia, whomever. But for the most part, and that's wherever the bigger and the better deal is. And
Right.
I can't fault anybody for wanting to make a buck. So.
All right. Well, on that upper, I'm going to just say, hey, I shared with you, Toddy, today. Actually, it was yesterday. I received my 3-album Cracker Alternative History boxed set. Man, you're talking about going back. Not only are we pulling up songs from 1988 forward, but putting them on vinyl and including a full-up booklet with dozens of pages of color pictures and liner notes.
Oh,
and
nice.
song descriptions. And I told Toddy, I felt like I'd been in the music scene when I opened it up. It was like the old days when you literally peeled that cellophane off the outside of the cover in order to be able to get to the album and pull it out, or if it was a double album, open it up. But that was what I experienced. It's old school for sure, but sometimes old school has some specialness to it.
Oh, no doubt. No doubt. And before we go any further, I would be remiss, I like that word, if I didn't point out yesterday was the anniversary of Elvis's death. Yeah. And that's, I literally can tell you where I was in 1977 when it happened. Yeah. So here's to you, King. Yeah.
Amen, brother. Yeah, I know where I was when I heard it blare out over the radio, man. So it's just one of those moments that in our lifetime we'll look back on and forever know that's where it was. All right, man. What else you want to talk about?
Well, on some more of the new bands, and like I said, I don't know what actually constitutes that from a time standpoint, but yeah, we mentioned Wild Feathers repeatedly. I think they're one of the better bands out there. So here's another one that's, I'm going to say, new. King Gizzard and the Lizard Wizard. If for no other reason than the name, yeah, you got to give them a listen. The guitar player is incredible.
What kind of band is it?
Hard rock, man. Kind of that, almost a jam band, kind of. But they lean more to the harder side, I suppose. Like I said, I really don't know how you would describe them. Other than, once again,
that's good.
I like them. And like I said, the guitar player, he doesn't, I'm going to say, look the part for the, but holy crap, the dude can play. Yeah, I mean, he's incredible. And like I said, give him a listen just for the name only. And that's one that, Trevor turned me on to. That's you.
Trevor.
Yeah, loves them.
Man. Well, so one that I struggle with it now because current or not is a question. But I had stumbled upon a band 7 years ago called Alt J that, again, you just couldn't put them in a box and you decide this is what you're going to call them. First two albums, I'm going to say, were just absolutely magical. Fourth album was impacted by COVID, and then everything else since. Toddy concerts, is another way that we either, I guess, minted our love for a band or learned to love a band because we'd never heard them before, and here they are playing live. All J was one of those cases for me, all 4 times. Then again, Atlanta Rhythm section back in the 70s and early 80s, 4 times. A couple of them with you.
Yeah.
So that whole concert experience, man. If you had to talk about the one concert that probably had left the biggest mark on you, what would it be?
Floyd in 1994.
In what location?
Legion Field. And I saw them 3 times on that tour. The show at Legion Field was, I don't know if it's because people in Alabama had been starved for it for so long. It was just the incredible energy. The show was, it was off charts. In comparison, saw them at the Meadowlands later into the tour. People there were pretty much ambivalent. Yeah, it was their 4th show in New York City. They had played 2 at Yankee Stadium, and this was their 2nd of 2 at the Meadowlands. It just didn't have the excitement that we had that night in Birmingham. Wow. It just left its mark.
Yeah. Well, yeah, I was there at the show in Birmingham, and I agree with you. If the question had been reversed, concert that left its mark on me. That's it.
Another one, saw Stevie Ray Vaughan maybe 3 weeks prior to the helicopter crash, and ironically, he was co-headlining with Joe Cocker. Holy shit, were they good. Yeah, it was one of those that left out knowing you had just seen something special. Yeah, and then sadly, he passes literally 3 weeks later. That was another one. The guy was greatness.
But you pull on something that's a little bit macabre there, Toddy, and that is we have a habit of seeing stars and then they die. AC/DC, Bon Scott played at the Dothan Civic Center 6 days before he was found dead in a car. You know, and then, you know, you're talking about what you just witnessed. It's just like, man, is it the curse of DanO and Toddy?
You know, the Dothan Civic Center, I don't know who run, you know, I'm going to say operated it in the 70s, or who the concert promoter was. I have no clue. But holy crap at the bands they brought through.
Yeah. Well, that was a point that I tried to make last time, Toddy. And honestly, until I started doing, I was searching for something, you know, like when did this band, Blackfoot, for instance, when did they play at the Civic Center? And so I would go in, and there's actually a nice link at the, I think it's the Dothan Civic Center website, that you can click on and see a history of all the concerts that have been there, and the dates. And I just started scrolling through that, and it was just like, holy shit. I had no idea. I did not realize. And some of it was just, I wasn't old enough yet, I guess, to be going to concerts, or being aware of how cool this concert was. It was coming to Dothan. But dang, man, Toddy, we had some good bands come through there, man.
Absolutely. Yeah, like I said, and I don't know who was responsible. I have no clue. But the Blackfoot concert, speaking of spring 1981, and it was them and Molly Hatchet.
Yeah.
Incredible
Imagine
night.
that, man.
Yeah. I mean, crazy. I've seen everything from Seals and Cross to Blue Oyster Cult in that venue.
Oh, Lord.
Now, that's a pretty wide gamut of bands.
It is, man. Blue Oyster Cult, man. You're causing my head to flood with images, because they played at the Civic Center a couple of times, maybe 3.
Oh, yeah.
And there was a song that they had, Go Go Godzilla. And man, when they were live, the guy that was playing drums would start out, he's playing drums, and it's just a big drum break. All of a sudden, strobe lights flashing. All of a sudden, he just starts leaning back on his stool. He's still hitting the drums, and he's out of sight for just a second. All you can see is his arms. And he comes back up, and he's got on this giant Godzilla head.
Yep.
And he's playing these drums like crazy, man, and the strobe lights are going, and it was just, oh my gosh, what did I just see?
And do you remember how they closed their shows?
Mm-mm.
They would do a cover of Steppenwolf's Born to Be Wild, and all 5 of them would drive a Harley out on stage.
Yeah. Now I remember.
So it just left its mark. So kudos to the Cult.
Yeah. Good times, man. All right, Daddy.
You and I, we went and saw Atlanta Rhythm Section in Panama City, 1980, give or take, somewhere thereabout. And that was another one that just was an incredible night.
Louisiana's LaRue.
Oh, that's right. Open
was with them. Yeah. New Orleans Ladies.
Yeah. ARS, for whatever reason, probably didn't get the credit they were necessarily due, but what a great group of musicians. Yeah.
Oh, man. Well, like I mentioned earlier, when I hit on concerts, I don't know, 4 times, 5 times, most of them at the Dothan Civic Center, but 2 of them in Panama City. One, the time that you're talking about now, Toddy, which was in a Civic Center. And then one time with Wiley McNeil outdoors. This was when I was working at Studio 4 in Dothan. And I had finagled my way into 2 tickets to this concert that was happening outdoors in Panama City. And so me and Wiley take off and go to Panama City, go to the concert. Do we have a place to stay? No, that would be no. Did we have a plan for anything other than just going into the show and hearing Atlanta Rhythm section? No. So we did, and then we decided, well, we'll just go out and sleep on the beach. And uh, Wiley had a tarp in his trunk. We put the tarp out, we laid on it, and about 5:30 in the morning, the sun came up over the sand dunes and started frying us. And so we quickly decided there's got to be a plan B. And that turned into, hey, there's a demo condo across the road. All right. So we go over, and guess what? The demo condo is open and is fully furnished, including a bed. So me and Wiley pile up in the bed and are just sleeping fine until about 10:30 when a realtor shows up to show said condo to this couple that was really interested in buying it. And there we are piled up in the bed.
Does it come with the two hobos? No. Damn, we'll have to pass. But that Wiley, I hadn't heard that dude's name it's been a while. So,
well, hey, we're gonna get him on the show.
Yeah, get him on. Yeah, because like I said, there's a couple of people that I've got in mind that their taste in music ventures in another direction than, say, yours and ours normally would. So I think they'll be a nice asset. I mean, don't get me wrong. I have one guy in mind, heavy metal, to the core. Now, I like some of it, but I'm not probably as educated in, I mean, obviously know who Sabbath is, but he'll be a nice addition one night. Yeah.
Yep. There you go.
So, but going back though, new bands, and I think I mentioned them last week. St. Paul and the Broken Bones. I still consider them new, based out of Birmingham, kind of white boy soul, might be. Yeah, I don't know. Obviously, the dude's influenced by Otis Redding, Wilson Pickett. That's obvious. But what a high energy. There's no way you could sit and listen to him without tapping your foot. Something's going to move. Yeah. Something's going to move. So there's that.
They're doing something right.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
All right. Well, Daddy-O, it's been fun. I think we're about at the end of our time. If you get a chance, we'll do it again next time.
Let me know. Here's to you. Enjoyed it.